Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Here we go. We're going to be talking about the limiting beliefs that are stopping great people from writing their book. Now, I'll be the first to admit, when I wrote my first book, I was inundated with limiting beliefs that almost stopped me from launching my book. When I wrote my second book, I had the limiting beliefs pop up, but I was slightly better equipped to handle them because I knew what was coming and I knew it was on the other side. Book 3, limiting beliefs came up. By the time I wrote my fourth book, I realized that limiting beliefs are always going to be part of the problem. No matter how experienced, no matter how much you know the process, no matter what, there will be limiting beliefs. But it's not about the fact that you'll never have them. It's about when you do have them, how can you proceed even though you have those beliefs? Now, when I was writing my first book, I was 23 years old, and I had every doubt that you can imagine. Who's going to buy my book? Who am I to write this book? What makes me qualified? Do I even have enough to say? What if people don't like me? What if people laugh at me? How the hell do I even do this? And most importantly is like, what is this actually going to do for me? And so I was paralyzed. I was paralyzed by these limiting beliefs. And so what I'm going to share with you, this is going to be part 1 of a 2-part series. And in this part, I'm going to share with you 3 of the most common limiting beliefs that amazing people just like you have that prevents them from writing a best-selling book, that prevents them from creating a book that could change the direction of your life. Because here's the thing. We all have our own limiting beliefs. Some people are more concerned about what people will think about them. Some people are more concerned about the tactical know-how. Some people are more concerned that they haven't achieved enough. Everybody's got a different belief and a different reason why they haven't written their book. Because newsflash, if you didn't have any limiting beliefs and you were really honest with yourself and you didn't have any beliefs, you, 1, wouldn't be watching this video, and 2, your book would probably already be done. All right. Now, maybe you feel called out by that a little bit. And if you do, well, maybe it's time to take that next step forward and say it's okay. Because we all have these limiting beliefs. All right. And hopefully by the end of this video, hopefully by the end of this 2-part series, you're going to know exactly what beliefs you struggle with. You're going to know that you're not alone, and you're going to know how to overcome them so you can proceed creating the book that you know you were destined to create. Okay. It's not what you do when you have these beliefs, because you're going to have them. It's how you respond to these beliefs that will determine if you are a champion, or in our case, a best-selling author. Okay, now let me ask you this, and I want you to think back to your normal history. When limiting beliefs come up, okay, do you allow the doubts, do you allow the worries, do you allow the insecurities to stop you from doing the thing that you want to do? Or do you use these things as reasons to keep pushing forward? I'll never forget, I was playing high school basketball, and all the people told me I would never make varsity. I can't jump high enough. I can't dribble well enough. I'm not good enough. Jake, you simply are not tall enough, fast enough, strong enough, skilled enough, etc. You will not make this team. Now, I could have allowed that to stop me. I could have allowed the doubt. What if they're right? Maybe I should just give up now so I save myself the embarrassment. I could have allowed that to stop me from trying for the varsity team. Or I could use that as fuel to ignite the fire within me to keep going. I chose to use it as fuel. Fast forward, I make varsity as a sophomore. We're competing against great players, and I have an incredible high school career. When it comes to a book, though, you have the skills. You have the experience. You have the knowledge. The only thing that's stopping you right now is the belief of what's possible. So let's break it down. We're going to go over 3 limiting beliefs in this particular video, and then we'll give you the next 3 in the next video as well. So limiting belief number 1. Now, we primarily work with high-level entrepreneurs and executives who are busy, and the number 1 limiting belief when it comes to writing a book that we see is, I do not have time to write a book. Now, this is one of the ones where it's like, yeah, that is valid. But the truth of it is that often the expectations of how long it takes, how much effort is actually required, is different in your mind than the reality with a proven process. Okay? So contrary to popular belief, you don't actually need to stop doing everything that you have always been doing. You don't need to leave your family. You don't need to go away for months at a time. You don't need to stop running your business to write a book. No. As a matter of fact, you can write a great book in about an hour or so a day. Okay? That's about 5 to 7 hours a week. We see our clients writing their rough drafts in about 30 to 45 days. We see the average time people are spending anywhere from 5 to 7 hours a week. Some that have more capability will go longer than that, but that's the amount of time. When I wrote my fourth book, I spent on average about 55 minutes a day working on my book. I wrote a full 35,000 word manuscript. Okay, and I'm going to show it to you right here. I wrote a full 35,000 word manuscript in 17 days, spending less than an hour a day. When you have the right process, you can overcome this belief. Now, here's the thing. If something is truly important to you, you always make time to execute. All right? If you have a massive tooth pain, are you going to just delay it? No, you're going to go see the doctor, right? You're going to go to the dentist and probably get a root canal, which is going to suck, but you're out of that pain. It's that important, so you execute. Do you tell your baby or your kid that you're just not going to change their diaper? No, you change the diaper. You have to do it. You execute. Do you not take a sales call when someone's begging to give you money? No, of course you make time for that. Do you not decide to eat for days because you're busy? No, you make time for that. You do what's necessary based on your belief of what's necessary. And so if you're committed to writing a book, time is no longer an option, because in reality, once you write the book, you're actually going to save yourself a ton of time in the future. Okay? So that's limiting belief one. I don't have time. Yes, you do, if it's important enough for you to make the time. You only need about 5 to 7 hours per week to be able to write a great draft. Now, the way that we work with clients, we pair you with a writing coach, or we'll actually write your book for you, and then we do the rest for you. So all you got to really do is attend these calls, write the draft, get feedback, and then we take over for you from there. Limiting belief number 2. And this was one that I personally struggled a ton with. Limiting belief number 2 is I'm not a good writer, or I'm not a writer, or I don't like writing. This is the one that I struggle with the most because I didn't go to college for writing. I went to school for business and sports, and I was a decent writer. I literally, after writing 4 books, put in my 4th book, I'm not the best writer, nor do I have plans to be. But what I am is incredibly passionate about using books to share stories and experiences to relate with great people. Okay? So just because you're not a writer in the traditional sense does not mean you can't write a phenomenal book. I always tell people, if your desire for impact is greater than your dislike for writing, you can and you will write a life-changing book. And so what I always tell myself and people that say I'm not a writer is, do you really want to make an impact? Do you really want to grow your business? If so, don't worry about how much you dislike writing, and instead do good enough, because guess what? We're going to surround you with a writing coach. You're going to get a professional editor. You're going to have a team of people to help make your average writing still great. Let me give you a little secret too, folks. We are no longer in the age where the greatest writer is the most successful. It's called a best-selling book, not a best-written book, baby. Right? But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing when it comes to this, okay? Is you can always enhance your writing through practice, through skills, and through hiring the right team. All right? But the bigger question to ask yourself is this. Do people want to hear from the greatest writer who writes in the structurally most accurately correct way? Not necessarily. If you're using a book for business growth, if you are the brand, then it's really important to write the book like you. So in my book, I say, let's go with 6 O's. Now, I'm no scholar, but I did win my 5th grade spelling bee, and I'll tell you this, go is not spelled with 6 O's. It's spelled with 2. I'm just kidding. It's spelled with 2 letters. And so let's go. But that's my personality. So you don't have to be the greatest writer in the world. Okay, let me ask you this question. Have you ever helped somebody? Do you want to help more people do the same thing? You can write a book. Have you ever helped yourself and created your own transformation? You can write a great book. Have you ever had a calling to share a message? You can write a great book. Okay? If you want to impact people based on your knowledge and your experience and what you've lived through and what you've learned, you can write a great book. I'm going to wrap this one up with this. Okay? Your message that you are sharing is bigger than how you identify as a writer. Let me repeat that. Your message is bigger than your identity as a writer. Just because you're not a great writer does not mean you don't have a great message. That is the power here. You do not have to be the greatest writer in the world. As a matter of fact, I still don't like writing, and my books do really, really great, and I have helped a lot of people, and I want that for you, okay? Let's talk about the third limiting belief and the final one in this part 1 of 2 series. This is a very tactical limiting belief. I don't know where to begin. What we see happen all of the time is people, I want to write a book. And so they just start to word vomit in a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word doc. The problem with that is you get a bunch out really, really quickly. And then you're like, wait a sec. I have no direction. I have no clarity. And I don't know what else to include or how to structure this book. And then you wait a little bit. And then you're like, you know what? Let me try again. And then you only write when you're feeling inspired, but you don't have a real clarity. And then months and months go by and you're not making the progress you want. So here's the thing. If you're feeling like I don't know where to begin, the best thing that you could do is to acquire the roadmap, okay? An easy roadmap that is free. I'm going to give you this book for free. Big Idea to Bestseller. It's a step-by-step guide on how to write, publish, and launch a nonfiction book. You can get this book. We'll link it down below, but it's also at bigidea2bestseller.com/free-book, okay? You can go ahead and get a free copy of my book. We'll send it to you. That's the roadmap. But the second thing that you need to recognize if you don't know where to begin is it's not actually writing. What we love to tell people to do is to understand your purpose, understand your niche, understand the problem that you solve, outline your book, finding your accountability partner. These are all things that we encourage people to do before they actually write the book so that they can have more clarity, the book's more optimized, and you have a clear roadmap and step-by-step instruction. The next part of this is really tactical, okay? If you're trying to write a book and you don't know where to begin, start with what you know. What are your experiences? What do you have knowledge in? What are your skill sets? What are you already being paid for? These answers to these questions will likely lend itself to helping you build out an outline and eventually creating a book on the back end of this. And then the last piece here is invest in the process. Whether it's with a company like ours at Big Idea to Bestseller or with somebody else out there, invest in yourself to get help so you can skip the line, you can stop feeling overwhelmed, you can stop being stressed out, and you can get the step-by-step instruction. In one of our programs, we literally have every single to-do item that exists on how to write and launch a successful nonfiction book. And you just check things off one at a time. This makes the process a lot easier. We even have coaches that are designated to walk you through this process and support you every step along the way. But when you invest in the process, you now have somebody who can take the amount of time and the unknown that you have and make it known and shorten that time, okay? So in the next episode, we're going to talk about limiting beliefs 4 through 6 as part 2 of this limiting belief series. But here's what I want to challenge you to do. That's how we end every episode here. I want to challenge you to get really clear with yourself. What is the thing that's stopping you? What is the story that is holding you back from moving forward with your book? Okay? Your book can be great, but you have to begin. So if you liked this and you want to get a free copy of my book, Big Idea to Bestseller, go to bigidea2bestseller.com/free-book. You can get a free copy of that. Just cover the shipping and we'll mail it directly to your doorstep so you can highlight it and do all of the things. I hope you had an unbelievable time listening to this. And I hope that you're excited about what's possible when we shatter these limiting beliefs once and for all. I'll see you on the next one.